stay chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. Now I see that people are popping in. So I'm happy to see all of you, and I'm gonna talk a little bit today about chocolate and traveling outside of Stockholm. There's a lot of people all over the world joining in for this amazing online festival, and I'm so happy to see all of you popping in, waving and saying hi, and I'm really excited to share some Swedish chocolate with you today. This is a collaboration with Standout Chocolate, and I hope all of you have heard about his chocolate already. And if you haven't, you'll find out a lot more today. But this is not a standard chocolate tasting, how to taste a piece of chocolate. I want to try to give you some inspiration to think about chocolate and taste chocolate in a slightly different way. And that's why I'm here. We're all a little bit limited or incredibly limited at the moment, and that's one of the reasons why this online festival came about. So let's send a big thank you to the people who created this, and hopefully we can feel some gratitude for where we are and the situation we're in, even if it's very, very complicated. I know that I feel limited when I can't travel, when I can't move around as much as I want to. And this is one of those times. I know some people are a lot more locked down than I am here in Stockholm. So I'm gonna give you a tip, an idea on how to escape that. Because I think that there's a lot of similarities between chocolate and traveling, just like I said. And both of these things have been amazing passions of mine ever since I was a kid. Long before I could decide myself if I wanted to travel, how I wanted to travel, and before I knew what craft chocolate was. It was my go-to candy, but now it's not candy anymore. It's craft and it's handmade. And I can use my imagination from my childhood wanting to travel and combine that with my passion for chocolate. And in that way, I can travel from my kitchen, from my yoga mat, and find a way to move out and about. So, I don't know if anyone else did the same thing as a child. I couldn't sleep, felt nervous or something like that, and then I would pick up my big book of world maps, and I would just close my eyes, I would open it on a random page, and I would dive in. It's like, whoa, never heard of that place before. But it got my imagination going. All of a sudden I was in Africa, I was in Australia, I was in some small island in the middle of the Atlantic. And I tried to figure out, what would I do there? How would I spend my time? And it really, really kicked my inspiration, and it made me feel a lot more relaxed. And on top of that, we did a lot of studies in school where we were supposed to read about a country and then dive in. And that's where one of my first chocolate passions kind of intertwined, because Madagascar, it's for many a favorite origin of chocolate, and a lot of people find it very interesting when they try a Madagascar bar for the first time. And I think my first urge to go to Madagascar came when I was probably 11 years old, 12 years old, when I was reading about this country. It didn't have anything to do with the movie, but I was reading about all of the endemic species. I was reading about this beautiful untouched nature, and I wanted to go there before it was too late, before all of the other tourists would go there. And not that much later, I started to see that there was Madagascar chocolate bars. Not as fancy as this one, but they were industrial, but they still got me realizing, oh my gosh, there's a whole world of chocolate. Chocolate comes from different places in the world, and that really inspired me. And I started to see, oh, Ecuador, Madagascar, all of these different places where I could travel in my mind and taste chocolate. And I realized that they taste differently depending on where they're from. And I know a lot of you who are with me have the same experience as I do, that wow, this chocolate, it triggers memories, it makes me flying, it makes me dream away. And if we make that a little bit more consciously, we can use this as an escape when we feel trapped or when we are trapped and can't move. So any chocolate bar made from a craft maker, like this one, Standout Chocolate, it's made in Sweden, outside of Göteborg, in a small place called Chocolatier. So that's the first part of the destination when you travel with chocolate. Where is the chocolate made? We need to know that. Who stands behind this chocolate bar? So in this case, it's outside of Göteborg in Sweden. And the man behind the bar is Fredrik. And he puts his heart and soul into making chocolate bars that, of course, he likes, and that I like, and that hopefully all of you will like. And when we want to put ourselves into travel mode, we take a bar, and the bar itself, the packaging, it's made somewhere. But that's just the beginning, because where does everything actually come from? So you have to have a look at the origin. Where does the cocoa beans come from? Because hopefully all of you know that chocolate is made from cocoa beans. All of these amazing seeds, they transform into chocolate. The first time I was talking to Fredrik, I asked him how he got into chocolate. Because, well, there's quite a lot of people who do now. Everyone loves chocolate, right? But everyone has a different story. And Fredrik didn't necessarily have like, I'm gonna be a chocolate maker. He liked chocolate. Who doesn't like chocolate? Well, I met people who don't like chocolate, still don't get it. But he didn't have like, this is what I have to do. But he had worked quite a lot with the craft coffee industry, and that made him realize that there's a lot of potential in craft. And when he started to taste craft chocolate, he got really fascinated. And he wants to bring the same experience as he had to all of you and to the rest of the world, as a lot of chocolate makers do. They want to share their passion. And the first time you get a realization that the cocoa beans, you transform them into nibs. That's the tiny pieces of when you take away the shell, after you roast the cocoa beans, you get the nibs. And that's the very first step of making chocolate. So these tiny little nibs that you can also put on your muesli, you can just munch on them, it gives you so much energy. Maybe that's where all my energy comes from right now. So you mix the cocoa nibs with sugar. In this case, cane sugar. And the sugar and the cocoa nibs, that's all you need to make chocolate. So with this realization that those two ingredients make chocolate, you don't need anything else, and you can still have all this diversity in flavor. that's one of the things that really got Frederick going. So if we're going to start off traveling to Madagascar, 2 ingredients made this. Well, I'll show you the actual bar first. So the bars looks like this. They're nice, square, and well, you obviously have to break off one piece. I've already did that. So you got one piece, one mouthful, and you should never just put the chocolate in your mouth, especially not if you want to travel a little bit, but even if you're sitting with friends, sharing, allow chocolate to take time and be something that you care about, be curious about. So always see what it smells like, the taste. Because when we travel, when we're out and about, moving in the world, why do we travel? Well, we want new experiences. We want to see things, we want to taste things. At least for me, a large chunk of my travel has to do with food. Well, chocolate, in my case, pastry, sweets, but food, the gastronomy. What does a place taste like? What does a place smell like? Walking down the street, maybe here in Stockholm if you come here for the first time, or what would it smell like to walk down the street in Madagascar? Still today, haven't gone. It's one of my dream destinations, still very high up on my list, and I definitely need to go. Because ever since I first tasted a piece of chocolate made with beans from Madagascar, all of that fruitiness, the intensity that just lingers in the mouth, I need to go. But until I actually have my ticket in my hand and all of this is lifted so I can travel again, chocolate. So if you allow yourself to use your imagination, be a little bit creative, take a deep breath, sit down on a yoga mat, on a comfortable chair, with a person next to you, hopefully if you're not alone in an apartment, and smell it. Of course it doesn't smell like walking down the street, but maybe it smells like a bakery that you passed on one of your travels. Maybe it takes you back to a memory of your own. And this has nothing to do with proper tasting. What does it taste like? What does it smell like? This is all about your experiences, using your memories to travel. So walking down the street, it's a bakery, maybe it's a flower shop. What do you get? And then when you have started to open up all of these aromas, then you can put the chocolate in your mouth. Then you can start to savor it. I'm gonna snap it. You can't hear it from over there. So put it into a smaller piece and then taste it. I'm not used to talking with chocolate in my mouth. So you have to let the chocolate linger, move it around in your mouth, and hopefully you're doing this at home and you feel safe and comfortable. So close your eyes. You don't have to talk to anyone and explain what you feel and what you're experiencing, but close your eyes, give yourself time to savor the chocolate that you have in your mouth. Move it around, exhale, and use your imagination. Where does this chocolate take you? Maybe it will take you to Madagascar. Maybe you can picture yourself in the Sambriana Valley, where this cocoa beans come from. Maybe you're traveling along a large river, the Sambriana River. Maybe you're sitting on one of those small wooden rafts. A man is standing there paddling you forward so you have open view of the river. You've got lush green trees, growing tall around you on this large riverbed. bed, and then you've got the sky. What does that taste like? How do you feel when you can put yourself in that mindset? So close your eyes and picture that. Picture the place of where the cocoa beans come from. And then you can start to assess the flavors if you want to. Do a little bit more of chocolate taste digging. Madagascar is known for red fruits and a lot of fruitiness. So what do you get? Where do you feel? Where do you put yourself? Maybe it's a little bit like a dessert that a friend has treated you on one of your travels. Maybe it takes you back to a heartfelt memory. Maybe it reminds me. Maybe it reminds you of a chocolate bar you tasted before. Usually Madagascar bars makes me smile because they bring back happy memories of why I started with chocolate. What makes me love what I do, and why do I want to share it with you? Like traveling, you want to share your experiences, but if you only share them and don't actually ground yourself to be part of it, then they will soon go away. We need to notice what we do. So if we're sitting there with a piece of chocolate, aware, happy, we're not in Madagascar, but we can pretend. And especially when it comes to all of those chocolate destinations, that's all I think about when I plan my travels. But any destination really. If we can't go there right now, what chocolate do we have from that place? Where are the origins? Where are the makers? And then you can find a place on the map when you're feeling distressed and see if you can find a chocolate made from that origin. As I said, Madagascar was one of my go-to chocolate as I first started to find my way into the chocolate business, the world of chocolate. And Madagascar was, and still is, one of my dream destinations. I still can't wait until I'm on that boat, on that river. I can't wait until I actually get to see the chameleons and the lemurs wild. I probably have to hike a lot and stay in the woods to actually get to see them. But in a dream, I'll just walk down this little pathway with a piece of chocolate or maybe some fresh nibs, and they'll be jumping around along the street, along the path with me. And that's the beauty of imagination. It can take us anywhere we want, just like a piece of chocolate. So traveling, it's not only about physical travel. It's not only about destinations. When it comes to chocolate, we can actually travel in time as well as in space. And with Standout, we can go down to Mesoamerica. We can find a way to trigger our taste buds in the history of chocolate. One of my favorite parts of the world is Latin America and Central America. I've spent a lot of time there, and I definitely want to spend more time there when all of this has calmed down. But in the meantime, I'll do some chocolate meditation, I'll do some conscious chocolate eating, and I'll take myself there. If there's places that we've already visited and places that we want to go to right now and we can't, then we can find them within ourselves. So bring back a happy memory and a piece of chocolate and open up for happy thoughts. Sit down, close your eyes, and breathe. key things. For me, this bar from Guatemala can take me right back to some of my happy places and happy memories. I take one bite of this. It's another small bar. I'm not going to eat more of them right now, because then I can't talk. And that's what it's all about right now. But I'll smell it. The beginning. Because when we open up our aromas, our noses, your mouth will start to water, and I can start to place myself where I want to be. Because if I think about Guatemala, if I think about Belize, I think about Mesoamerica and some of the travels and hikes where I end up on a beautiful, open clearing, and there in front of me I have this amazing ruin of the Mayans, or the different, depending on which country you're in, right? But for me, a lot of the ruins I visited are Mayan ruins, and I take this piece of chocolate and I sit down, close my eyes, and I pretend that the sun is shining on me. There's a blue sky and I'm sitting on the top of one of these pyramids, overlooking the jungle in front of me, the rainforest, and it's just a happy place. It's a way to escape the gray skies or the indoors and feel a little bit connected. Obviously, this is a lot of mindfulness, awareness, consciousness, conscious eating, and it will bring us a lot of joy. It's about using our imagination. But we can also go real, go deep. I can't travel right now, but I want to, and I want to get that new experience. I want to learn what it's all about. How did these cocoa beans, these cocoa fruits, how did they come to me from Mexico, from India? How did they end up in Sweden? How did these bars travel all the way from the cocoa beans into Stockholm? So we can make it into an actual journey that the cocoa bean has taken to transform itself to a bar that we can sit and enjoy. You also have the opportunity to do some research. If we look at this bar from Peru, one of the destinations, again, that I really, really want to visit. There's so much with Peru that makes me curious, intrigued, from gastronomy, history, to beautiful landscapes. And when you have a piece of chocolate from a maker who has a transparency, so you can really know where does the cocoa beans come from. It's not just Peru. You can have a look. Where is it from? You can get the details of the region. Some of them put a lot of information on the back. Like here I can see the region, the country, how it's been dried, how it's been fermented, and who produced the cocoa beans, so that I can get a little bit of story. If I want to dig deeper, I can check online, Google, my phone, and learn a little bit more about the Urubamba Valley. Where is this? Okay, it's up north. We're close to Cusco. We're close to Machu Picchu. So historically, this region used to be part of the the Inca Empire. And there's so much history to be found. I can imagine myself hiking in the hills over there. I can even dream about taking it's not a shortcut, hike from this valley up into the Machu Picchu and experience that amazing view, the ruins, and the history myself. I can read up on what do people eat in Peru. What could I feel like if I got to travel there? What would I do on a day on my trip in this place of the world? So find these different ways to be inspired, because the cocoa beans have traveled a far distance to get to me, and well, I think it gives the chocolate maker and the cocoa beans a lot of respect when I care about the chocolate that I eat. The flavors I can find in the chocolate can take me on personal journeys, bring back memories of travels I've had, or take me to memories from my childhood. But I can also research the place where it's from and maybe dream of a day when I can go and visit this place all by myself. So there's a lot of possibilities. So I'm talking about Standout Chocolate, Swedish chocolate maker. And one thing, well, at the moment, he's got the different single origin bars. The ones that I haven't mentioned yet, Haiti and India. Well, India, you can imagine a rush, the crazy society and all of the creativity that you have in India. This is from the Kerala region in the south. It's warm and sunny in the Induku Hills, so it's got this spice, lots of spice farmers. You've got the spice, like the scent of spice in the air, and then you've got the playful chocolate, because just like a bustling society of India, this chocolate will play with your senses. And maybe you can find some of those spice nuts and pretend that you get a whiff of the nutmeg tree, or like cinnamon and chai in the bar, or you get a lot of the dried fruits like raisins and so on. So we'll travel with the bars, but there's news coming along, and I'm gonna finish and leave you with these news, because they're not there yet. They'll be there. So have a look at his Instagram or the web page, because soon you get to travel with some Swedish flavors. He's coming out with spruce sprouts, brings me straight into the woods of my childhood, blueberry and blackcurrant, really Swedish flavors, but I've never seen a bar with spruce sprouts before. So keep an eye out for those. And dark milks. So there's going to be 3 origins of dark milks. So you need to keep an eye out for that. And if you're curious to try any of these bars, you can go to the link in my bio, or you go straight to the website of Standout Chocolate. And this weekend, in honor of this amazing online chocolate festival, stay at home and eat chocolate. There's 20% discount. So if you want to have an opportunity to taste some of these on your own, go to find his website and order some of that chocolate, and keep an eye out for the news. I know my time is running out, and I could talk forever and ever about chocolate, and especially when I get to combine it with my passion for travel. If you have any questions after this, just drop me a message and I'll answer as soon as I can, and we can continue to talk about chocolate. But until then, stay here in the feed of all these live sessions. There's some really amazing ones coming up later on today, so go check the schedule and enjoy the festival and enjoy some amazing craft chocolate. There's a lot out there. So thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me, and I'll see you in the world of chocolate. Ciao, thank you.